What's up, family?
Hey, fam, hey.
Welcome back to Two Families,
One house.
And today we'll be just getting a little bit deeper into who we are and how we ended up doing this whole Two Families, One House, 13 people
Community living.
Community living thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, first question that we want to ask or share is, how did we end up married? How old were you when you got married?
I was 20 and AJ was 19.
Okay. Yes. And this last weekend, they celebrated
27 years of marriage.
Okay.
Say what?
27 years of marriage. How did that feel?
It felt amazing. Yeah. Amazing, but I mean, it doesn't feel like I've been married for 27 years, if that makes any sense. Probably because we're like constantly getting to know a new AJ and a new Jacquees.
Right.
So,
right. Ooh, that's the thing. We have to make a note for that one.
Yes. So, how old were you when you got married?
Oh, I was actually 21. I was 21 when I got married. I think Mom was 25.
Okay.
25. Okay. I know my kids said yesterday, like, just think about it. Mom was 16 and Dad was 19. And it was like, bro.
Yeah, but we didn't get married then. So
no, we didn't get married like that. But I was 21 and he was 25, I think. I'm pretty sure he was 25.
Okay.
So it was somewhere around there.
Well, at least you got married at a legal age in terms of like you could have celebrated. We were 19 and 20. There was no cheersing for us. No. We had sparkling.
Well, right.
It's all good though. It's all good.
Well, that's good. But so in that, like, that was where our relationship started. We were in Flint, and we ended up getting married and moving and started our family right away. Yeah. So it's interesting to see the perspective coming out of high school, having kids, getting married versus friends who like waited a little bit longer. So that's a whole different conversation. But let us know if you are, part of the early kids, marriage, family starting age, or did you start later in life? But so yeah, from there, what happened after that?
Well,
were you working when you got married?
I was working.
Okay.
I was an administrative assistant. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, let me back up. I actually worked at a TV station.
Okay.
When we got married. And oddly enough, AJ worked at a store.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. He was actually working at Quality Dairy when we got married.
Okay. And then y'all started having kids?
We enjoyed the process of trying to have kids. But the Lord saw fit we end up not having our first kid until 5 years into the marriage.
Oh, okay. So y'all had a nice little, okay.
Yeah, we had to get to know each other.
Wow. Okay. So when you had your first, like, child.
Mm-hmm. I was 25.
Okay. Yeah, yes. I was 17.
Okay. Well, let's go into that.
Yes, I was 17, senior in high school. Yeah, at the time that was not what I was thinking. I was thinking like, okay, I'm about to go to college, and I had my life planned out, and in a moment of like disobedience to my parents. At the time, I ended up getting pregnant. So to somebody I wasn't even really talking to like that. So that kind of like shook my world. I was like, oh shoot, what am I supposed to do? And so I was like, I accepted the call to become a mom, and I was like, all right, well, let's do it. And so yeah, that started my adventure. And then I met my husband like not even a year later. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time, clearly, but he was just my friend. We met as friends, and we developed a deeper friendship over about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, because my daughter was 4 by the time we got married. So that was, it was a process. It was a journey. We enjoyed it. We had fun.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, so I'd love to go into like when you became this mother at 17 years old. Because a lot of people think, oh, it's an easy decision. Oh yes, I'm going to do this. It's mine. I'm gonna take care of her. Whatever the thing. Talk a little bit about like what was your thought process? We've talked many conversations about this. Just about our different experiences as becoming mothers and what that looked like for us.
Yeah. Mine was more of a struggle. I feel like where I came from, the perspective, at least for me, was that motherhood was not something that was celebrated. It wasn't seen as like a joyful occasion. It was like always, again, in my perspective, where I was coming from and what I had seen and what I experienced as an accident, like the question always came up was, oh, you're pregnant? Are you keeping the baby? And I would say there were organizations like Planned Parenthood that was very like prevalent in that and where I grew up. So it was just like, it was never like, oh my God, I'm so excited. It was like, oh shoot. And it could have been the age too. But yeah, it was like, my mom was a single mom. So I didn't see it as like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And again, it could be because it wasn't even somebody that I was like even interested in like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it really did take me to make a decision to say like, weigh out my options, look at what's going on, and say like, is that something that I feel like I could carry on? The answer was no. I didn't feel like that I was prepared, ready. I didn't feel like, I just knew morally at the time I could not take my child's life away. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to figure it out, but I had seen my mom be like a strong woman, and she raised me. So I was like, well, here it is. Let's go. Yeah. Like, this is where I am.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm making a decision. I'm going to be a great mom. I don't know how, but
yeah,
I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a scary process. It's a very scary process. I had 3 miscarriages before I actually was able to have my children. And so there was a longing to be a mother. And when I had Arlie, I say this all the time, my first kid was my guinea pig. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I mean, I knew I loved my child. I knew I wanted to take care of my child. I just didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. And your story is a little different too, because do you feel like you were ready? I know we all feel like there's a mindset of readiness, like kind of ready, a little bit ready. Like, where were you at on that scale?
Okay, so I was ready to start having children. I don't know that I was necessarily ready to be a mother. Like the excitement and the anticipation, all of that, yes, I was there.
Yeah.
Once I had the baby, life showed me I wasn't really as prepared as I thought I was.
Okay.
So, and life continues to show me that, right? Like, I don't have all knowing and all seeing.
Yeah.
I don't.
All right. I don't think anybody does.
and it shows itself. Like, oh, I still got some more learning to do. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so from there, you started having babies. I started having babies. Did you keep working or did you stay home?
So, I knew very early in life that the Lord was calling me to be a stay-at-home mom and wife. That's not really popular. And it hadn't been modeled in my life. Everybody that I knew, my mother worked and she went to school. And raising kids, right? Yeah. So staying at home, I never saw that. And so to actually know that that's kind of what God called me to, I was afraid. Because people always ask you, like, when you grow up, what do you want to be?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And, everybody else is like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be an astronaut. And I was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and wife. Womp womp. Like, that's how it felt. Right. And so I was supposed to stop working once I started having kids. But I was afraid. So I worked until I was pregnant with Jaslyn.
Okay.
And Jocelyn is my second child.
Okay.
And because she was a girl, like there was an immediate like, what are you supposed to be doing?
Okay.
And I was like, I'm supposed to be at home with my kids. So I worked through Arlie being born, and then once I found out I was pregnant with Jazzy, which is my second child, I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm supposed to be at home.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, see, no, I was like, I worked. I worked. But, like, similar to you, I'm like, I did not see stay-at-home mom motherhood as an option. It was like, we're working, we're going to college, we are, doing
especially
these
in our community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was not.
It wasn't. It wasn't talked about.
No.
So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm working again. I'm like, just because I had a child doesn't mean I have to stop. It doesn't have to stop my life. We can do this together. Again, I looking at my mom, like, and how I went to college classes with her and all that stuff. So I just thought, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to take my baby with me everywhere I go. And so that's what I did. And I had a lot of people that helped, like, watch her, babysit her when I needed. But I ended up, after my first child, having 3 jobs. And I was in college, so I work studied. So that was one. So I went to school, worked, then worked at a grocery store, and then worked at the club. So it's just like, it had to make sense for me because, again, I'm trying to survive. So I'm like, I can go out and hang out with my friends, but I got to make some money still because I got a kid to take care of. And so that's, I didn't either see, stay-at-home mom being modeled, or I didn't see it as an option. So I mean, again, I would love to hear from y'all to see, what did you see? Like, what do you feel now? Yeah. Or what did you feel growing up? Like, is stay-at-home mom an option? Do you feel like it's a job? Do you feel like it's a, do you want to, or have you never ever wanted to? And really, the conversation we've had a lot around this topic is like, even though we're living in the same house, we have 2 separate perspectives on things. And really, community living is about not necessarily agreeing on the same thing, especially right now in this climate that we're living in, where everybody's like, either here or over there. There's, like, science, there's multiple ways to get to an end product. And so how do you take, your 2 perspectives and bring them to a common, denominator, basically. So yeah, I think, we have episodes basically like going deeper into like stay at home mom, work from home now mom. I think definitely I learned a lot as I dug deeper into becoming a mother, because once we moved here, I had to stop working because financially the economy is what drove me to be a stay-at-home mom or work from home mom, basically. Because I was like, I've got to figure this out. Like, how are we, like, my husband, both of our husbands actually are like the main providers for our life. Like, I would be lying if I said like I was pulling weight. I mean, I am. But what I'm saying is he pays the bills. Okay, like the majority. And he allows, when I say allows, like, was like, okay, like, feel free to explore these entrepreneurial things or the things, the passions that you feel like God is calling you to. He encouraged me to do that first because it's kind of, he knew who I was before he married me, basically. And I think same thing. Like, your husband knew you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Yes. Would you agree?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and he agreed with it. And so I think no matter where you land, this is why it's important to have upfront conversations with people before you get married, about, who you are and the type of things that you're interested in, like what your raising children would look like.
Yes.
Yeah, so. Yes. Yeah, and you want to share about that?
No, I agree with, what you're saying. Like, a lot of times we just think like there's this fantasy or idea of what a perfect marriage, parenthood, all of that is supposed to look like. Or maybe you don't. We've talked about this too, where, you know, I grew up dreaming about being a wife or a stay-at-home mom. I did. I definitely, I wouldn't say that I bought into like the Disney princess thing, but I definitely understood from a very early age. Like, I thought being a wife was beautiful. I thought being a mother was beautiful. And that's what I dreamt about. That's what I was the kid writing Mrs. So-and-so on my notebook,
Right.
I did. I grew up that way. But you were saying that you had a totally different.
I didn't. I think I'd seen so much heartbreak. I'd seen so much turmoil in relationships. Relationships just wasn't goals for me. It was like a part of life. I just saw it as like you talk to people, like a transaction.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you talk to people, but I didn't have any weight or stock in like a marriage or like I wasn't thinking of the American dream. That wasn't me. I definitely had people that I talked to, but that was because, I went to school. And so it was like, hey, I like you. But also I had a rough time in school, like just being bullied, like all of that. Like I would say for sure, I was definitely in survival mode majority of my childhood. So again, it made sense to me that I was just like trying to survive. I wasn't even, if somebody was talking to me, then cool, we'll talk. But so I just kind of let things come to me.
Yeah.
Versus that, and the things that I thought that I wanted to have happen weren't happening. So I was just like, I don't really know what we're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really know what we're doing here.
Right.
So yeah, but we definitely, again, just want to hear from you. Like, what do you think? Like, what's, what do you think about being a stay-at-home mom or work from home mom, or where you at on your journey in that? And so as we are having this conversation, we're back playing like, how did we get to know each other?
Yeah.
And really, again, like we came to in two different ways came to the same space.
Yeah.
And we kept seeing each other in passing, like,
yes.
And what was crazy was like my husband and I were praying for friends. We were like, hey, we want to have friends that are married and have kids and love each other. Like, because we had a goal. Once my husband and I decided to get married and to start a family and to do it early, we were like, okay, we want to be in community with those type of people. So we started praying and we were seeing each other, but we were passing.
Yes. Like we passed each other quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like we talked about that. Like literally our kids both went to preschool, the same preschool.
Right.
And I was picking up and they was dropping off, or vice versa.
Yep.
Like we would see each other there.
Yeah.
At another school, we was passing each other.
Yeah.
She had given me her business card. To this day, I still think it was not where it was Maluka. That's something different.
Yeah.
But we just kept passing each other. We almost bought a house right next door to them.
Yeah. Which is crazy. I mean, we figure this stuff out now as we're talking.
Yeah.
We just see how God kind of orchestrated. And yeah, we definitely was like, oh, okay. But what started our like sit down and have a conversation, like friendship, was I feel like God was calling me to homeschool. And how long had you been like listen, we'll have to do a whole different video on like how we started homeschooling and how God called you, because I would say that'll get us into a whole different,
that's a rabbit hole.
It is. And again, just inviting you to go back and listen to our audio podcast. This is our video. We're coming out to video, basically.
Yes.
Debut. That's what I was trying to say.
Debut. Yes.
This is our video debut. And we're seeing how people like this, because we've got 3 seasons already of us really going into like deep details. We got the husbands on there. We've got our children on there. But it's 4 years later.
Yes.
And now our
Y'all
kids are
saw
older.
the pictures. You see the pictures, but those are not the same kids we moved into the house with.
Exactly. Yeah. So now we have adult children, and teenagers. Like the last of the preteens is my youngest, who's 12. But we've got them ranging from 22
down to 12.
Yeah, down to wow.
Yeah.
Down to 12.
Yeah.
So so that yeah. Wow.
Yeah. You will have to process that too.
Yeah, process that too. But yeah, so we want to invite you to go back and check out some of those things. And, we're going to continue to come on and have these conversations about, topics that people want to hear about. Let us know. Do you want to talk more about youth being married as a young person? Like, that's, what do you think? Getting married young and starting a family young, or do you feel like you should be settled and established? Or
what does that look like in today's society? It looks different. I mean, and we'd like to know where you all are at, and what do you guys think?
Right.
What do you guys think? Because we have our stories, though similar in some ways, very different though, and different perspectives. And so we would love to hear from you guys.
Yes. And being able to be in community with people that you don't necessarily, again, our starts may be different, like in learning how to appreciate, like you're standing there, I'm standing here, but we can get to the same goal. Like, why would God call two people who like have a difference to actually work on the same project?
Yes.
That, and it, so either way, stay at home mom, or work at home mom, or go to work mom. Like, what do you, where?
And be okay with being different. I think we fight so hard to be similar. No. It doesn't really work. I think our differences is actually what creates a good balance for us. There's a lot of times where I feel like the things that she brings to the table actually helps me out in my blind spots. Right. And vice versa. There are things that, I'm able to, hey, what about this? Or what do you think about that? Or I saw that. I don't know if you saw it. I just want to bring it to your attention. But I feel like it sharpens us. I know that's a churchy word, but it's helping. We're always wanting to grow. And what we've learned in our relationship is that we're forever learning.
Right. And even in marriage, and I was talking about that earlier, like we want to come back with another episode about like how getting married at a certain age, like now you're being presented with, this is what you're supposed to look for with a spouse, but when you're young, you're actually growing. So that'll be another episode.
Oh, I can't wait to dive into that one.
Another episode, like how do you know what to look for when everything is telling you now, like this person is supposed to be already healed. And it's like, okay, well then how do you grow together? And like you said, that was one of the things in my marriage. I learned that my husband is not going to be me. And so instead of getting upset with him because he's not doing what I would have done, to appreciate that God has brought me someone who is opposite from me. And how do we then work that out when it's like, well, if it was me, what I would have did was like,
I think the idea that we would love somebody like us is so far-fetched.
Right.
Because honestly, I'll just say this. How many times with your own children, they've done something and you be like, oh, that's me. That's me. Right. You don't really like it. You don't be like, yay, that's me. I like it. Do it again. No, you be like, dang, that's me.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Sometimes it depends on what it is. You may be like, okay, I know where you got that from.
Right.
But usually you hear more people say, that's like your daddy. Like, whatever. But it is. Having children definitely puts a mirror in front of yourself and you go, oh, that's what that looks like? Yeah. Definitely I've had a lot of those moments like, ooh.
Yeah, that wasn't that cute, huh?
Okay. All right. I see how that looks.
That stung a little bit.
Yeah. Especially too, again, just being more, um, just coming off more like independent. I really had to learn that I was missing out on the community part of allowing people to be a part of my life, and being so strong willed and being like, I can do it myself. Um, and really, it stemmed from a mistrust of things that have been fumbled in my life, over and over again. So yeah, I think these are conversations that we've had already on our podcast, on our audio podcast. So feel free to click the link so that you can go back and listen to it. If you don't want to wait for the visuals to come out, then you can go back and you can binge listen to all the other things that we've talked about before. But we're going to continue to, freshen them up and say, like, how is that conversation going 4 years later?
Yeah.
Now that the world has changed, our children has changed, we have changed. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. You keep bringing up a lot of good topics that I'm like, ooh, I want to. Okay, wait. We'll wait.
I know. Like, stay on topic. Stay on topic. Video is definitely going to be different than audio for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anything you want to add before we clock out?
I want to shout out my boo for 27 years. Hey, babe.
Look, he calling you too.
Right. Oh, he is. Okay. Well, we was thinking about each other.
Right. He literally called like the timing was like that.
Right. But no, just wanted to say thank you for 27 amazing years. Good, bad, and the ugly. And the beautifully blessed. Like, it's been good. I love him. I still love him. He still gives me butterflies. And yeah, we still argue and fight too. But it's
that's true.
Making up is great.
That's true. Cool. Yeah, same. I would definitely piggyback off that and say yes. I have an amazing husband, and he had me working out today.
Yeah.
Again, he's talking about topics. I know.
So many more topics. Y'all gotta come back.
Gotta come back, and you gotta tell us like which one you want us to expand on. We're trying to have the conversation of where do we start. Again, because we've had the archive of things that we've already talked about, but we want to know, for a lot of the new people, where would you like us to start? What would you like us to dive deeper in?
Yeah.
What conversations would you have us like isolate and elaborate on?
Yeah.
On video so that you can see it on video if you don't really want to go back and listen to the audio.
And I would even put out there too, like, I don't think anything is off limits.
Right.
I think if it's something you want to know, like, let's talk about
it. Absolutely. So, 27 years of marriage, 18 years. Well, we're coming up on 18.
Coming up on 18.
We're about to be 18 years old. Wow. That's a kid.
Right?
About to be 18. And so, again, our goal is to be able to, one, share the love of Christ, but also share our experiences and encourage someone who may be feeling set apart in some sort of way, to be able to carry out the assignment that's on their life and sort it out and encourage. We didn't have mentors specifically. We've had pieces of mentors in different seasons of life, and there was a lot of times where God had us in the waiting area, the zones, the by yourself, and then what did community look like in each one of those seasons. So we're a homeschool family, and so there's always homework. And so today's question for homework, and basically with the homework, it is us living. We do life together. We're learning, we're lifing. And so homework, true homework, is the work that you do at home. And so did we have a question for homework today?
I feel like we did.
We did. But we forgot what it was.
I feel like
the homework is just a comment. Let us know. Like, we'll start easy, okay?
Yes.
Like, where are you in life, or what would you like to have a conversation with us about? What would you like us to elaborate on? And think about some of these things. Like, pray about some of these things, because there are things that we think we want, but then if you're a true follower of Christ, or maybe you're just being introduced to Christ, you want to know how to navigate, like, what my life I want it to look like and what God is calling me to do, and how do I boldly walk in that. Or yeah, and how to start a community. Like, what do you feel about people helping you and living together? Not necessarily in the same house. It doesn't have to be the same house. But what does that look like? What does community look like for you?
Yeah, because our community is much bigger than us in the house. We definitely both prayed to have other families, couples that, love the Lord and loved each other and loved their families. So yeah, we have a couple of people.
Yeah, we have a nice sized community.
Yeah.
So yes. So yeah, with that being said, well, thank you for stopping by the house. We'll see you next time. Bye.